accidentally delete the app and then download it again. All your notes are still there, so that's cool.
Ooh.
All right. Good.
So, because like things like the Vapor Lynx pelt and the Onyx compass and the Ebony crossbow, those are in here.
Walter Kimmer, please sponsor us. That we just love your app.
We're live.
What, we're live?
We are live?
Yes, we are live.
We didn't even do... Okay, we're running late, so we are live. Hi, guys. This is Tears of Kairos. We're just gonna... Y'all do a rundown, because I'm still looking at my notes.
This is Ninja Spence 21, and I will be playing Zhonya Embersong, the chronologist Fire Genasi.
I am Nate. I'm playing Tal'gor, the Lizardman Barbarian.
I'm Samurai Jed 35. I don't really have a thing like him. Jed, Arten, the fighter. Go.
I'm Hewitt or Miro. They're all going to call me Hewitt.
Yep.
Yep.
I am playing Fil'verl, Ettin, the space elf, Sorlock. Also, sorry, I pulled a Bosch. I just fucking threw his live right in. That's...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. That was
Okay.
Yes.
You're welcome. This is what I experience anytime I'm on that end of the table because he's over here going, live, and I'm like, fuck!
Yeah. That did a thing with... we okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was just
Right.
a quick
So,
lag. Yeah, just buffering.
Some quick lag. Just some quick lag.
You'll forgive me the lack of detailed synopsis. We're just gonna do a really quick summary.
Can we each do one part of the summary so you don't have to?
Have at.
Go first.
Okay. We met a bunch of really cool centaur people, including a gecko guy that had a bunch of shit.
While we were there, trading shit for shit. Literally, stuff we didn't care about, some things we did care about, for other things that were sometimes cool, sometimes needed, sometimes, I don't even know if you got anything worthwhile. Then we came back, I got completely wasted, sang a fun song, and then woke up with a hangover. You don't know!
Here.
I was just gonna say, congrats to our softball girls. They're actually in the tournament. That's why I wasn't here. So, they have a pretty good shot at going all the way. So
Nice.
good luck to them.
Nice. Well then, before that, we had made it to Chorus Hole. That we had spoke to the goddess Loetha with just some rather serious questions, and then it was some weird questions asked. But other than that, it is okay. Then that we had got some answers. Arten had got that he had basically got a magical compass that was basically allowing him to see that essentially that the shards are shard or else heart pieces of Kairos. Is that about right, DM?
Yes.
And someone threw shade at the elf because they might have caught a lie.
Oh yeah, then that is true because that Zhonya is very suspicious about you.
She's so
English
suspicious.
teacher came out, sorry.
It's okay, it's okay. No, fix my grammar, it's fine.
So-
I just wrote a
I'm
song
totally
about it.
clever. That's what I believe.
Okay. Aside from that, we kind of left off at the end of last session, kind of doing a little bit of table talk and table maintenance, because essentially from here, you all have to go plane hopping. You have to try to find these shards, and they're not in Zrael. Loetha has offered you access to her interplanar gates, but you needed to decide where you were going to try to go first. She gave you the rundown through her mouthpiece and the Prince of the Wilds, Kalia, who's essentially the leader of these Centauran types. You all chose, all of you, even though Nate wasn't here.
I did choose it.
We did. We did talk in Discord. That was it. But they chose to go to Strixhaven next. So we kind of left off in an ambiguous nothing space with that. So we're gonna go back just a little bit to overnight before y'all were gonna leave the next morning. Overnight, the four of you, Phil, Arten, Zhonya, and Erebos, Erebos is actually kind of like napping rather than full sleeping, but he's kind of napping. You're trancing, and I'm just gonna say right here, right now, none of y'all see what happens next. Like, you don't see it, Erebos doesn't see it, and you two are asleep, and you don't wake up.
Okay.
But Tal'gor,
Okay.
as you're sleeping, you feel someone touch your shoulder,
Okay. I'm with
like
that.
kind of a tap tap. And you wake up and you see the mouthpiece of Loifa. This individual is a very short, more satyr in appearance than Centauran. Their lower limbs are that of a cat.
Yeah.
But up until now, this individual has not spoken directly to you guys. They are the one that led you out of Loifa's cavern and kind of to the Prince of the Wilds. They spoke to the Prince of the Wilds, and none of you could understand what was said. But right now, this individual is essentially nose to nose with you. And their eyes are, one of them is a very clean-cut glacier blue. The other is a very stony gray.
Okay.
But this individual is face-to-face with you and says, "Come with me to find your voice." And
Okay.
you understand them directly.
Okay.
You follow this individual back out and across the empty space to the same, y'all's tent was kind of at the back of the camp, and there's this large empty stretch of nothing. It's like an empty space specifically left that leads to Loifa's mountain, essentially the end of the Vox Canyon. You're led back to the same hidden door in the mountain that you had come out of before.
Okay.
The mouthpiece leads you up and up and up and up the stairs, into the mountain, and right at the last minute, before entering Loifa's cavern proper, a side passage opens away from the stream.
I'm going to follow very confidently.
You follow down the side passage. You eventually end up in what seems to be a smaller, almost like it has a very ritual feel to the space. There's candles, there's glowing gems. There's also what appears to be some kind of chalk paint on the floor, in a very, very strange amalgam of symbols. The mouthpiece says, "Stand in the middle."
So I'm going to stand in the middle. Like, very confident.
The mouthpiece leaves,
Okay.
and the door that you came through closes into solid rock behind them. As the door closes, you can feel, it literally feels like a heartbeat moving through the stone.
Okay.
It's a very steady, almost a drum beat. And this beat kind of starts to pull your consciousness from yourself. You kind of fall into a bit of a trance.
Okay.
And in that altered mental state, you hear the songs and voices of your people, the old stories, the old legends and lore, the songs that the children would sing around the fires to ward off the monsters of the dark.
Okay.
And in your mind, you're singing along with them.
Okay.
And after a time, the heartbeat in the stone stops. And you feel there's just a rightness. You
Okay.
feel your neck, the scar's not there anymore.
I'm going to whistle to see if I can.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to be...
I know, it's amazing. You can whistle with no lips.
Well, it's actually through the nose. There's like a little pouch right here.
There you go. There you go. Teach me something.
Yeah, it's like that. It's not a very good whistle.
But you know without a doubt your vocal cords, your throat is repaired.
I'm gonna take something just of small significance to me, just like a piece, like an old ring,
Okay.
and just kind of leave it. Like it's kind of like an offering.
As you opened your eyes after this ritual seems to have been done, the doorway was open, but the mouthpiece is nowhere to be seen.
Okay. As I assumed it would be.
And you can basically follow back out to the main hall.
Okay.
If you look up back toward where you know Loifa's chamber should be, there's nothing there. It's like a solid wall. But you can basically follow directly all the way back to ground level.
And I'm remembering the gods are like dragons, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So that's obviously going to have a lot of significance to lizard folk who worship dragons as like their progenitor of the race.
Yeah.
So he's gonna kind of put a little holy symbol. I don't know what it would look like, but it's gonna be like a watery looking dragon. He's gonna draw it on the side of the cavern and go back play back.
Okay. You can go back to the tent. Nobody seems to have moved. It doesn't seem like they registered anything at all.
Okay.
And the rest of the night is yours to either sleep or stay awake, whichever. But in the morning, you all have your. I don't think y'all need a rest, but y'all have it. And the morning is yours.
Is this the same hungover morning? Coffee conversation
Yes.
morning? Okay.
We did need that rest because we were all walking out of that Sphinx fight, kind of.
Drained.
Y'all had the rest the day before too.
But I didn't even erase stuff on it.
I needed the rest because I was drunk
Fair enough.
and am now hungover.
I was just.
But yeah, so we're kind of retconning a little bit of that morning, just
Yeah,
to
that's
kind
fine.
of streamline things back in.
I was just trying to.
So
Everybody remember your inspiration.
inspiration.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I got 8 now for this game.
Lord help.
I have one.
You did spend a lot of
I spent them all. I spent
You
them all
were
on
very
Sphinx.
inspirational.
You rode a
Sphinx.
Sphinx
It was-
so well that I wrote a song about it
I'm
in
not
a
gonna
drunken
lie.
stupor.
I'm not gonna lie, Nate. We've all been wondering what Tal'gor's actual voice is gonna sound like.
Oh, it's
so.
gonna just sound like me. I'm not very good
I
at
had
it.
actual money on Little Girl.
Damn it!
Hey guys, I'm Tal'gor. Hi, I'm Tal'gor. Like, what the fuck?
All right. So
Oh god, no, all I can think of is fucking Elfo from
From
Disenchantment.
Disenchantment.
it's morning, guys.
We had the awkward long trying to get everybody through the bath cycle.
What do
There
you
was that. We're gonna
speed
you
run
know,
it?
This is more that if Tal'gor wants to talk this morning, he has the opportunity.
right.
and
Let's
then we're
imagine that Tal'gor was still asleep while we were
Yeah.
taking baths. And
There
then-
you go.
So he doesn't have to.
That'll work.
Okay. I'm not talking. I'm just all right. That's not good. I'll let you know when I'm talking.
So I get it. After I get out of the bath, I would like to notate. I'm definitely gonna be grabbing a towel and like wrap it around my mane and throwing it up in a little hair bun thing that you would imagine that anyone with long hair would want to do, and I definitely do.
Makes sense to me.
What?
I mean that
No.
I mean I
Me and
never
Naboo.
tried
We're
to
gonna go back to
cologne.
braid stuff.
Okay.
That was right. That wasn't the thing.
So much weight.
So many braids put in the hair.
Well, morning to you.
Martin?
Slide Erebos on.
Sleep well?
Hey. Well, close enough.
That's good. Slept well, just
You feeling alright this morning?
a little bit.
Do you want to feel even better?
How?
Y'all are back in the tent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna warm the towel just a little bit.
Sometimes, just sometimes, you come in okay with that.
Cinnamon.
And there it was.
I can do it.
And there
I
it is.
can do
There it
it without
fucking
the
is.
cinnamon.
Oh.
No. I recant every statement. Fuck you and the astral horse you rode in on. No.
Thought it was a ship.
Whatever.
I mean, at least that you know that they always provide what is for breakfast.
More of the same, really. More of the flatbreads, the honey, a little bit of that grain cereal.
That you know that this is very good. I mean, I guess I used to eat stuff like this all the time.
It lacks meat.
It lacks meat. I mean, I consider myself more of a pescatarian.
Don't you dare prestidigitate a meat flavor in my oatmeal.
I was gonna say I had pocket bacon.
I don't want your lint-covered bacon either.
I wrapped it in a cloth. Look.
No. It's just gonna taste like cinnamon. It's just gonna taste like cinnamon. Does it taste like cinnamon?
Tastes like pork.
But you would have made it taste like cinnamon for me.
I mean, but cinnamon flavored bacon stuff sounds good though.
Does it?
There's one time that there's a guy who covered it in peanut butter and then cooked it on a griddle. Caramelized it. It was absolutely disgusting.
What's a peanut?
It sounds.
I know what a peanut is.
interesting.
I know what butter is. So I
Is it
assume-
an animal that you can make butter out of?
Oh, peanut's
No,
a nut, dude.
it's a
It is a
technically
tree
it's
nut.
not a nut.
It is more of a.
It's a legume.
It's a legume. It's a bean.
Is this a
Bean.
fancy star plant?
No, no, God.
Literally, you put it in the ground, you forget about it, and the next thing you know, you got a clutch of them this big. And then a rather smart individual somehow mixed them with oil and made a paste that was
Yes.
originally advertised to be a health food. Totally isn't. But if you need a giant chunk of protein and sugar, there you go.
Wasn't he a tiefling?
Was he a tiefling?
Either tiefling or else a half elf. Or wood elf. Who knows?
We're making it canon. George Washington Carver.
I mean that to be fair to all of my tieflings up in just my world that they are mostly black. So,
All right.
I'm just over here like, where are we going with this?
I have no clue.
We'll bump this ahead a little bit and get
Cool.
to the meat of things.
Yay.
So the Prince of the Wilds and the Mouthpiece will come back to y'all's tent, kind of give y'all the lowdown. Y'all will decide on Strixhaven, and the Mouthpiece will then lead you all back into the mountain, same way y'all came out before, and up to Loifa's chamber again. The same spring-fed pool, the same stream that goes out of the mountain, and her lounging at her ease in the pool. Again, there are a number of large, they essentially look like door openings into other caverns, but they're all filled with a different color of stuff. There's one that's like amethyst, there's one that's the same black nothingness that you recognize from below the nest. There's a bunch of different colors. The one that the Mouthpiece kind of directs you to is swirling with red, white, black, green, and blue in just random patterns. And Loifa says to you all, while the Mouthpiece is now moving to what appears to be it's like an altar space, but it more seems like storage, maybe. There's a lot of boxes and packages and bags there. And the Mouthpiece is kind of rummaging around a little bit. Loifa says, as you leave this place, please remember that things will be moving apace here. However long it takes you, things will be happening here. That said, I'm giving you a way back. You will return here when you are done, and you may resume your journey later, to wherever you need to go next. The Mouthpiece comes over and hands each of you it's just a small piece of rock. Just slate. And it's a little more than a pebble, or like a skipping stone. Loifa says, if you need to return at a moment's notice, simply smash the stone. If you have the opportunity to wait, you may speak to the stone and I will hear you and bring you back that way. Whatever you have on your person will come with you. Do not bring anything dangerous back to my people. The Mouthpiece then brings over a rather large pouch that you can tell is obviously filled with gold. Take this as a means of funding your investigation and funding your way. So you basically all have a party fund of 5,000 gold now, given to you from Louisa.
Whoever wants to be the party treasurer.
Already doing it.
Dang it.
I've been taking notes.
It's fine. It's fine. President, treasurer. It's fine. I just immediately was like, money. Put it. I'm not there. I like
The last thing the mouthpiece hands over is a folded, tied, and wax sealed scroll. Louisa says, "This is a missive of ambassadorial intent. If you wish to use that as a means of getting in the door, you may. I have sent students to the colleges before, and this will ensure that you are adequately respected as ambassadors from Zhonya. If you need that as a way to go about your business. If nothing else, seek out Shale Talonrook in the College of Silverquill.
Crook is C-R-O-C-K.
Shale Talonrook.
Oh, Rook. Okay, I heard Crook. And Silverquill. Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
No,
I'm good.
I think I'm good too.
All right.
Take your time, be safe, and return to us with the peace of my father's heart. And gestures with her tail to the gate.
I'm gonna say thanks, Mom. Like the deity, like whatever deity, mother deities of the lizard folk, and just intraconic, and just walk on.
He says a thing. Does he say, he says a thing and goes through the portal first, and was like,
Wait, did you just hear that?
Hey,
"The fuck just happened? Hey, hold up here!" I run right past everybody through the portal, and I'm like, "What the?" Y'all can ask questions.
I gotta see this. I'm just going right after him.
Okay.
Thank you. And then that I will be sure that we will be safe and go after Lance.
All right. So as you all step through this gate, you feel almost all at once and in succession flashes of what feels like
Uberg.
healing, what feels like brightness, what feels like shadow, what feels like all the elements at once. Just a whole conglomeration of different energies, and you find yourself running and or stumbling to a stop on a wide paved path facing a rather large fountain. There's obviously like a mage type individual like inscribed in the fountain. Over the
What? Oh.
Oh no, not the pool.
I'm getting a hug. What do you want?
Just trying to find something.
What are you trying to find? I'll be right back.
No worries.
No
Go,
worries.
keep going.
Okay, so
Show me
we
what
go
you
through
want.
the portal. First things first. When the fuck did you learn to talk?
Last night. I just woke up.
I'm gonna need some more words out of you than last night. I woke up talking.
Oh my god, you found your voice,
I just didn't do
Tal'gor.
that.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I see. How does it work now?
She healed me, as far as I can tell.
When did you heal him?
Not she.
I didn't heal him.
I forgot the goddess.
Loetha.
Loetha.
So last night, while we're all sleeping,
Yes, the mouthpiece came to me. Got in my
open your grill.
my girl. Said, "Follow me." I followed. Now I'm done. It's not that great a story.
that this is so amazing.
Not that
Now you
great
can
a
use the
story.
big words that we have been learning.
I mean, I could always read. Racist.
I know.
Just kidding. I'm sorry.
I have saved your life. And then as she just starts steaming at the ears.
Zhonya, as you're kind of turning away from
You know I'm
Tal'gor
joking.
I know.
in angst, you catch sight of the fountain and feel a flash of recognition. You've been here before. The fountain overhead is framed by a series of floating stones. Each of them is like it looks like a standing stone. Each has different edges, rough cut or rounded off. But each of these stones is floating in a perfect circular arc around the fountain. Looks like this.
Okay.
Okay.
I doubt it'll actually show up on screen, but
A little bit.
A little bit.
these arts should be easily findable on Google. If those watching would like to go pull them up, just literally search Strixhaven MTG cards. They're everywhere. Because most of these arts are ripped directly from the cards. But yes, so Zhonya, you recognize this place. You have stood here before. This is not deja vu. You are certain you have been here before.
I've been here before.
But
You want to walk around and see if you recognize anything?
Yes.
what do you mean you've been to this plane?
I
You've
mean
left that one and
that-
come here.
I mean that it was, it isn't deja vu or nothing. I remember myself here. I may have been
Okay, who's that?
possibly welcoming that is that Professor Quill gained a lot of weight.
You, as you're thinking about it, you remember walking with a group of other young Genasi, a bunch of different ones of you from different families, from different home ranges, but you remember walking with them, following a metal individual with a holographic chest screen, and you remember hearing a rather monotone voice explaining that the fountain isn't a individual, it's more meant to represent a seeking mind.
The fountain is known to resemble a just seeking mind. And in it, I believe that this is where we go for questioning about this place.
So that's not a person. Like that's not a statue of a person who existed. It's just a statue.
Yes.
I'm calling Bob.
I mean that, that
Hi, Bob.
it's just going to walk up to it, and then it's going to be like some metal figures coming up with screens or holographic images.
Yeah, so essentially, if y'all want to put one of the figurines at the smaller little sunburst.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Y'all are essentially as you get closer to this fountain, and you're realizing now there's a lot of people in this space. There are trees, there are manicured hedges, there are flower beds. This appears to be some kind of a park. And there are a number of people walking around. At first glance, there's at least 36 in your immediate vicinity. And they're all seeming to be going somewhere. You see a few kind of situated under trees. You see one that's strumming a bit of a lute. You see a couple of female elves that are have books and papers just spread on the grass in front of them. You even see a few individuals wearing long black and white robes, carrying black parasols. They're very, very pale underneath their shielding from the sun. But around the fountain, kind of stationed at equivalent intervals, there are essentially automata. They are metal-bodied. Let me go actually grab this. There's a lot to describe here, and it gets to me. It's under C, right? I just had the thing pulled up. And now it's gone. Oh my god. There it is. This book is not organized that well. So this is kind of what you're looking at. It's a little automata. It's not quite two-dimensional, but it's definitely not got a fully rounded off body, and kind of in the center of it is an open space that is filled with currently essentially the equivalent of a screensaver. Swirls of color. Black, white, green, red, and blue, similar to what you
Can I
passed
take a
through.
finger? Okay. Just when touch the head of the automaton.
It seems to kind of, like it's been in a bit of a stasis mode, and it kind of comes to a fully straightened posture and kind of turns to face you and says, "Hello, welcome to Strixhaven. How may I be of assistance?"
Oh, dang. It talks.
Oh, yes. Hi, we are looking for a tour of the campus.
A tour? Yes, we will do a tour. Is this your entire party?
It's all...
Yeah.
Yeah, it is everyone.
I do want to wait for...
Right.
Phil,
But-
here.
Does that the little automaton has like any kind of like recognition of me if I have been here before?
Not without prompting.
Okay. Why yes, my name is Zhonya Embersong, and that this place
We had a
seems
fill-in.
oddly familiar to me.
We'll get right back to that.
Sorry, we had a little breakdown because he was told no, he could not have the iPad.
Okay.
So this is what y'all are currently interacting with. It's a little
The
automaton
gold
with a
thing.
holographic screen, and it is situated. Stand by. I gotta grab another picture.
Also, she remembers this place
Zhonya remembers this place.
as if she's been here before, and it's not deja vu.
Y'all are basically in this park in front of that fountain.
Oh,
And we just asked the robot for a tour.
Correct. And then Zhonya also said that said her name and that she's been here before. The screen starts whirling faster. The colors start to kind of coalesce and
What'd you
form,
do? Did you break it?
and form
No.
a blue and green, like kind of a split swirling sphere, almost like a world without land masses. And the automata says, Zhonya Embersong, class of 1562, Quandrix College. As alumnus, became professor of theory.
Okay.
I could have called Quandrix. Could have called it. Oh. Also, respect for not using Wooburg either time. Yeah, screw you, magic nerds. We're gonna say the colors in whatever order we want to say them.
Oh, well, I guess that whatever substitute has been up in my place, I guess that they've done a good job.
Okay, so you went to school here
I-
and then graduated and then taught here.
I believe so.
So this is the place you're always referencing about having the students in a room full of students to teach, and this is that spot.
I believe so. Yes.
Are we going to get to meet Calvin?
Probably so.
She kept mentioning one student named Calvin that she always kept telling to shut the fuck up.
I mean,
I forgot about Calvin.
Please
He
let
knows-
Calvin
I mean,
be the
that-
substitute.
I mean that that I
Calvin
obviously
needs to
did.
be the dean now.
I just obviously did. I obviously did not say it. Up and just comment that I had said the word "fuck" up in primordial like that.
Calvin's the over magical creatures and stuff.
But let's just continue with the
I just-
tour. That
Calvin
I'm
just
pretty
became
sure
the
that
dean
that's
of
going
the
to be
whole damn
weird
college.
for me.
Okay.
Okay.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to. I can't do the Tomatava voice the entire time. So Neysa, your DM, is going to give you kind of the rundown of what you're seeing as you're going across. This is a lot of description and a lot of explanation. You do not need to take notes on everything unless you just wish to. We're going to try to keep this as streamlined as possible because y'all aren't going to be doing the whole damn campaign here. This is just a fetch quest. So, the automata, essentially y'all are on the south side of this fountain. So the automata takes you down a path that starts going east. Eventually you will reach a more of a radiating spoke of a pathway. And each of the, a lot of these cross pathways are just, normal illumination with like some little gas lamps or something. But this more central radiating pathway that kind of goes, these are the red lines kind of connecting the web here. It is lined down the center with 50-foot tall, eternally lit beacons. The beacons of Gondor are lit, essentially, is what's happening here. The automata explains that these are... Where did I write this down at? Lord help me, I don't remember where I wrote this down at. But these are essentially another kind of symbolic thing that connects all of the outlying college campuses to the central campus, which is called University Commons. That's where y'all are at the moment. And then the automata will take you further into the center of Commons, take you to that larger sunburst there, and you'll be faced with a huge building. Think Library of Congress on steroids. This thing has a number of domed cupola, a number of towers, what looks like some kind of conservatory. Maybe in the center there's like glass dome. You can actually see it in the background of this image. The automata introduces this as the Biblioplex. It is essentially the central library. A point of note about it is that the legend is, there is a copy of every spell and ritual ever made in the Biblioplex.
He tells us this.
Yes.
I'm
gonna let that sink in.
That's awesome. I don't even do magic, and that's awesome.
The automata quotes the number of volumes and tomes in the Biblioplex at 17 million.
Makes you want to learn. There,
It's a lot. Continuing to the east around the Biblioplex, you'll notice a rather large, seems to be some kind of a cafe or a bistro. There's a lot of posters kind of splattered all over the windows. You can see streams of people going in and out. There's a smell that you all will recognize as coffee in the air.
That's that dirt stuff you tried to make me drink.
Why don't you try this? It's actually pretty good. You can get cream added to it.
So this is Fire Jolt Cafe, is what the signs over multiple of the doors say. That's the little red X in the center common space.
Give it a try.
Continuing back around, we're not stopping for coffee. Continuing back around to
Later.
To the north, kind of going around the Biblioplex. You enter more of seems like a residential area. You can see some spaces, some buildings that seem to be more geared toward first-year students. There's more flyers and such. But there are a few quieter neighborhoods that seem more like visiting alumni or ambassadors maybe have space in this kind of neighborhood. That's going to be the Green Square. Continuing on around, just more and more residential spaces. Every so often, when you pass one of these radiating spokes, which again you can recognize the main thoroughfares, these radiating spokes by the giant beacons running down the center. Every so often when you pass one of those, you'll see a carriage being pulled by a pair of mechanical horses. Metal bones visible to the open air, a little bit of a gleam of blue and green energy in their eyes, eye sockets, and it seems like these carriages run on a shuttle system. They're coming in and out at regular intervals. as you come almost all the way back around to where you were before, the little X there is going to be yet another, seems like a prominent eatery. This one has more of the tavern feel like you remember from Stone's Car Pass. The signs say Beau's End Tavern. And it's situated almost right, almost directly across the street from where the last monolith in that arch reaches the ground. As you all were kind of moving around, the automata would infrequently give you information about these arches. They're called star arches, and they mark and or form around centers of essentially confluencing mana energy. Sometimes they come paired with what's called snarls. Snarls are essentially uncontainable and chaotic representations of the same type of energy. So the star...
Don't go in that backpack. Don't give me sad eyes. Don't go in that backpack.
The star arches are more of a image of like mathematical perfection and precision, where the snarls are more uncontrolled and not categorical. But as you as you pass each of these major thoroughfares, the automata would tell you where that thoroughfare went. So the black one at the top is Silverquill. And if y'all want, y'all can write these down so we don't forget where things are.
This one here.
The black one at the top, is Silverquill. The blue and green one in front of the mic is Quandrix. The green and black here in the bottom corner is Witherbloom. That one is Prismari, the red and blue. And the red...
Yep, the red one.
The red one is Lorehold. Because I don't have a white marker, and I don't think a white marker would show up.
And what are those? Oh, wait a minute, I can see the colors.
Alrighty. So, with all of that information at your disposal, and you're back at the fountain now after completing your tour, what is the procedure?
Where's the compass say to go?
That's a good question.
Alright. We're going to do a little bit of a different mechanic because I've had to rework the compass a little bit.
It's okay.
It's going to show you where the shard is. You don't have to make a check for it. You can check it up to 10 times a day, an in-game day.
We are changing the compass. Let's see.
My apologies, but I realized that would make things a lot harder. You may also want to mark on the map in front of you where the compass tells you the thing is as we go about.
Okay.
Somewhere eat sour worms.
And place y'all back at the little fountain. Just the one little marker at the little fountain. Waiting for Arten to finish
All
her
right,
notes.
so I pull it out and I look.
And you look.
Points.
Currently, the shard is positioned to the east-southeast of your position at the fountain.
East, south, east.
Southeast.
Mm-hmm. Right
So-
about in there.
So somewhere between.
Witherbloom and Quandrix.
Yep.
Which is going to be question marks.
Now, basically all you're getting from the compass is general direction. You're not getting distance.
Yep.
So, be aware of that.
That I figured. I just kind of, which is why the question mark. It's not X marks the spot. It's that direction-ish.
Right. Now, I do recommend not erasing the question marks as you continue making checks. You'll want to be able to see patterns. All right, so the automaton has brought you back to the fountain, has taken up its position again, and says, "How else may I be of service?"
What was that guy's name?
She'll,
It was. I have it.
Shell Talonrook.
Shell Talonrook.
The
Silverquill.
The automaton screen swirls quite rapidly and resolves itself into a black and white image of what appears to be a humanoid owl. Bright white plumage, curved beak, wearing very ornate robes of mostly white with only a little bit of black trimming. And the automaton says, "Shale Talonrook. Stand by. Shale Talonrook, Dean of Radiance, Silverquill College."
That is fucking adorable right there.
What, the owl person?
That is. I had never met one. That is adorable.
Madam Talonrook is a representative of the Owlin race.
There's a whole race of these adorable fluffs.
I don't recommend you calling it adorable.
Oh, no, I won't. Wait.
Don't call her adorable.
I mean, you can.
I'm sorry, you're still taking something to get used to here, Tal'gor.
Okay. Good with me.
The automaton says, "Do you have an appointment with the Dean of Radiance?"
No, but we'd like to make one.
The image swirls away and a schedule block pulls up, and you see there's not a single open space.
Oh my god.
What about our document?
Yeah, the document of that.
We have this. Can this grant us an emergency appointment?
Describe, please.
It is an
It's
ambassadorial document.
It's a writ of ambassadorial travel.
From where do you hail, ambassadors?
From the land of Zrel.
There's a bit of a pause as the schedule kind of swirls away, and it's almost like the loading circle is kind of happening in multiple colors.
Oh crap, we're buffering.
And then there's almost like a little chiming noise, and the automaton says, "I will escort you to the Dean of Radiance's office."
Well, that worked.
We need to have something like that all the time.
Thank you. And then they're going to address the party like, well, if I was a teacher here, then that I may have a house here, maybe.
Wait, what?
We don't gotta pay for anything, duh. You are not crashing my house.
You said we didn't have to pay for anything.
No, as in residency.
Oh, I thought I was like, you just walk into the coffee shop and be like, it's on the professor's top, and just go. No.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
So the automaton will take as direct a route as possible while still having to go around the massive space of the Biblioplex, but we'll take you directly to the main thoroughfare that leads up to Silverquill. And as you all arrive on the main thoroughfare, we'll ask you, would you like to walk or take a equinaton carriage?
Oh, the carriage. We need to take the carriage.
Let's take a carriage, because we've been walking for how long?
Ever. For my entire life. Let's take a carriage.
It will be a 15-minute wait.
We got 15 minutes.
Would that give me enough time to get a coffee?
The walking speed between this position and Firejolt Cafe is 15 minutes.
Oh my god.
No, it would not.
God is telling you you're not allowed to have coffee right now. God does not want to play Fantasy Starbucks with us.
The Equinaton shuttles run on an hourly cycle.
Okay. Well, then we will wait 15 minutes.
Alright. Is there anything y'all do want to do during this 15 minutes? Anything y'all need to talk about? The automaton kind of enters like a waiting state.
These things are cool. Poke it.
It doesn't really respond.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to.
Never been here. It's fancy.
I mean that.
Clean. Really clean.
I mean that I may have been all across this campus, so maybe that that this.
You think your house is in like the in the that area where all the
that they had said that that I had taught in quandrix.
Yeah, but they haven't.
Isn't that the direction of the thing?
Kind of.
Right.
It's not. The thing is not directly at Quandrix. It's between Quandrix and Witherbloom.
Oh, we can also try to find your house when we're trying to find the thing.
I mean, that is true. If I even still have one, I don't know.
Is that a tap on the little robot? What do Quandrix professors teach?
The Quandrix College is an amalgamation and dichotomy between substance, which is the physical matter of life, and theory, what life could be. Mages from Quandrix are generally called numeromancers.
Ah, you got a new title.
It fits.
No, it does.
Does the professor have a home here on campus?
The loading screen is back. And eventually it resolves into like a zoomed out map and then zooms in and seems to focus on seems like it's the silhouette of like a
haunted mansion.
Like a cottage with a what appears to be a small hedge maze out the back. The automata says remind me Zonya's last name. I just lost
Embersong.
it. There we go. Professor Embersong's estate was sold after her disappearance. It is now owned by the current the current Dean of Substance, Keon.
We are going to have to go steal her house back.
No,
not necessarily, but she does.
How do you spell Keon?
And she is owed some
K-I.
form of monetary value. I mean, they sold her out,
Unless, well, you only
It
get
reads
to live
like
there while you're
Keon.
teaching her like it's a perk.
but they sold it.
I mean,
That's
that my
sold.
disappearance.
That's the current
Hey.
Dean of Substance.
Hey, how long has the professor been gone?
Professor Embersong disappeared from Strixhaven College 5 years ago.
Yeah, that tracks for, assuming someone's dead.
Well, I mean
Or
that.
polymorphed into something, unnatural.
Gone for 5 years. How long have you been
Right.
traveling with her?
Just as long as
Since we met over in First Trees.
I mean that Tal'gor
Tal'gor
would know me the
traveled with her
longest.
Tal'gor was more than 5 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about 5 years.
The whole 5.
Your DM remembers some things.
Because
Not always, but sometimes.
because it's basically after that I saved his
It
life.
was after, my uncle tried to murder me.
Yeah.
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 The whole Macbeth deal.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean that at least that that I get some credibility, somewhat.
And I got you back.
You all do.
Of course. Of course.
Oh, hello, Zhonya.
Dewey's like, don't misname me.
dude's like, just keep giving me scritches and love.
And then you are also a piece of thief.
Alright, so
Yes. I'll be right back. I gotta get the little boy medicine.
Okay.
So the carriage does show up after those 15 minutes, right on time. A few individuals get out, pardon me, and move past you all, freeing up the carriage for you guys. The automata stands by the front corner of the carriage, kind of near the front wheel. A little like grabby arm reaches out and kind of latches onto the top of it and pulls it up onto like the box seat.
All right.
Have y'all ever seen a Surrey with the fringe on top? It's a long, wagon, usually a 4-bench wagon. It has a canopy that has a fringe all around the perimeter.
Oh, those. Okay.
It's with a fringe on top. But all the fittings are bright chrome. The canopy over the top is a, this one in particular is white and black. But the others that run the other thoroughfares are associated with the colors of the colleges. So even if you can't remember which direction you're going, you just look at the right.
What color?
Find the right Surrey.
wait, this Surrey's going that way, and it's these colors.
Right. As you all are seated, the Surrey will wait another minute. When nobody else climbs on, the automatons kind of, there's a bit of a like a steam hiss, and they start trotting and take the carriage up the way.
It's been a while since I've been able to ride somewhere and just travel, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it has.
It feels peaceful.
It's a lot more gentle than the last ride you had.
Definitely more relaxing. Not as fun, though.
Still weird that you can talk.
You get used to it.
I mean, then at least that I will somehow have to find another use for just a circlet of detect thoughts.
You can still detect my thoughts if you want. You might not be creeped out, though.
No, that...
I just have a lizard brain and,
No, that I have seen you eat. And then that compared to my meals, your meals are like enormous. Go on.
Sorry. After a few minutes in the carriage, the houses and the buildings that you've kind of been traveling through down the main thoroughfare start to fade into the background. You're now traveling over what appears to be, it's mostly just a rather stark and arid stretch of not quite desert, but almost desert. It seems more of a between space. Off to your right, you can see quite a lot of green, manicured gardens, winding streams. Off to your left, in the distance, are a number of red tinged mountains, very Arizona in appearance. And you also see a lot of these, the star arches, kind of hovering off of some of the peaks. A few of them even don't go straight up. A few of them kind of come out on a horizontal. But for the most part, as everything kind of falls away behind you, looking ahead, you can see another large city type of space. There are a number of what appear to be amphitheaters, recognizable even at a distance. You can see gazebos kind of along the fringes. There are the thoroughfare itself seems to be leading directly to a kind of open space beyond like the outer fringe of these initial city buildings. And even at this distance, you can see a building that resembles the Biblioplex, but is a bit of a different color scheme. It more seems like a place of government than a place of hoarding knowledge. It's a much more staged structure, not quite as whimsical. But it's visible even at this distance. The entire ride from the Biblioplex and University Commons to the plaza at Silverquill, all of the thoroughfares take about 15 minutes by carriage or 30 on foot. Yeah, so you were talking and I interrupted something.
No, that's fine.
Then we'll just skip on ahead. So the carriage pulls up in the main plaza here at essentially Silverquill Center. There is a so this is the building that y'all could see at distance. Very much got a capital structure going on, and there is a monolith in the middle of the plaza. Each of these, each of the corner buildings have what appear to be the nib of a quill, kind of molded out of the stonework and metal. So the carriage pulls over, y'all can get off. The same arm kind of comes out and puts the automata back down on the ground beside you. And it turns around and starts walking backwards. I fail as your DM. It's been walking backwards every time y'all were walking with it. It's always facing you as if it can see behind itself. Little point of funness there. But so the little automata takes you up the stairs of this main hall and takes you down through. You can see it seems like in this part of this college's campus, the people are far more subdued, kind of on the fringes of this campus as you were coming in. There were a lot more, seemed like dramaturges, people doing impromptu performance. There appeared to be some kind of poetry battle where people were kind of clapping vehemently for their favorites. But all of that seems to be kind of relegated to the not major section here. It's a very quiet, the halls echo. Everything is very elegant in a imposing way. It's meant to implicate or enlighten as you move through the halls. Your guide takes you through the main thoroughfare of the main hall and around kind of into the back where appears to be like a section of offices and studies. Eventually you all fetch up outside of a door with an obvious plaque that says Shale Tal'gor, Dean of Radiance. And directly across the hall is another door with a plaque that says, I know these names, I swear I do, Embersong, Dean of Shadow. But they're directly across the hall from each other. And the automata reaches up with one of its arms and knocks the knocker on Dean Shale's door, and then kind of steps to the side so it's not directly in the way. You hear a rather bright voice from the other side says, "Just a moment," and some shuffling, a little bit of tinkling, sounds like china being put on a platter, and eventually the door opens and you're met with that same image, the same face that you'd seen before. Shale Tal'gor is a rather tall, she's almost as tall as Tal'gor. Owlin, her face is round. She's got the big round eyes, the little hooked beak. All of her feathers are white. There are very few freckles of like dusky gray. Her robes have a high collar. They're mostly white and cream. There's only a little bit of black edging on some of the pieces. She has normal arms, but there are wings spreading from her back. Owlin are essentially a modified Aarakocra. That's all they are. Her robes only come down to about her knees. Below that, you can see that she has taloned feet. She sees all of you and then turns to the, kind of leans down to the automaton and says, "Thank you for bringing them here. I'll take it from here." And the automata kind of gives like a little bit of a half bow and walks back the way y'all came. Shale steps to the side, holding her door open and says, Come in. We have much to talk about, Israeli ambassadors."
Right.
All right. Good. Of course we do.
As you enter her quarters, it's very bright and airy. There's a bit of a feel like a balcony over a garden, even though you're still kind of inside the building. There's walls of windows, bay windows, lots and lots of cushions. This is me being at a loss for descriptors. Imagine Umbridge's office without the evil connotations.
There we go.
That kind of vibe.
Lots of light colors and
lots of light
pillows
colors and a lot of like sunflower china.
Okay.
Instead of angry kittens. You can see there's a larger than you would expect kind of tea table set up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chairs, and a cushion for Zarina.
Alright.
And Shale says, please sit. We will talk. And she makes sure that you're all seated. Brings over from what's obviously her desk a tin of cookies, and sets the tin on the table as well. And then kind of seems to look around. Yes. And then sits and crosses her legs. So, 'tis been a while since we have had ambassadors from Israel, and the last time we had them, they were Israelan. None of you are Israelan. This is a very strange turn of events, but I am sure there is a good story here.
It's kind of a bad one. But it could have a good ending.
But
It's a fun story.
it's
to
a
hear.
fun story, indeed.
Bad story to experience.
See, I think the way the story should start is see what had happened was.
There's light even in the darkest of tales. Please, I'm willing to listen.
As the Dean of Radiance, I would assume you would always think so. But we are here seeking a stone. It's a piece of the fallen god's heart, to restore him back to his full self, so that it may complete the yin and yang of the gods of Israel. At the moment, it is set in balance, and that imbalance has cast shadows and creatures across the land, just wreaking havoc.
Well, that is certainly a goal worthy of adventurers. I would assume that you are then rather undercover.
Not
One could say that.
I don't
a
think
little bit.
there's any way for any of us really to be undercover.
I mean,
we're not exactly the why do you say
three
it?
We're not subtle.
That
You three are not subtle.
you are a missing, presumed dead, past professor here, who as soon as someone recognizes you will be less subtle.
Pardon?
Apparently that I was a professor here. Zhonya Embersong.
The name is oddly familiar. A few years ago there was an auction of a state.
Yeah, I have heard from the little automaton.
Yes, the campus guides can be rather informative if you know the right question to ask. Very similar to the Biblioplex archivists, who are also automata. You have to be very specific about your questioning. Otherwise you'll end up with an
We're
overload
gonna
of
have to
information.
go there and try that, aren't we?
Eventually, I mean,
Did you be thinking about asking the guide where
Well-
the shard was?
no, not yet.
No, I mean that. Well, then that since I did used to actually study, I wrote it down because I'm dumb. Let's see. I was the professor of theory. And then
There are a number of professors of theory.
I had a class of 1,000.
You were quite good then. I maintain my classes at around 500. I find it's easier to keep up with them as individuals.
I think that
However, there is nothing wrong with a different approach.
I do think that my time magic did basically accelerate that process a little bit more.
Understandable.
Phil's just like watching this, like and back.
So
We gotta.
Oh no, don't
Gonna
fear.
grab
Oh,
a
no.
cookie.
So
Don't fear, don't
Just
fear.
got
These
Get
are
this tea.
that,
Debate is a healthy respect here at
Yes.
Silver Quill, as well as the other
but
colleges.
I do appear to be not at the most of my brightest whenever that my disappearance happened. That I had to essentially restore this one's life at the expense of my own soul, in a sense.
Well, it seems like you maintained your soul. Perhaps it was your mind that you lost. But it
That
seems you're
is-
gaining it back.
Yes.
You're speaking. That's a good start.
I'm pretty sure my uncle cursed me, and whatever curse affected him.
I think it may have been some drawback due to the time magic.
That would be a question for Dean Valentine, Don Witherbloom.
Okay, Dean Valentine at
He's tricky. Be careful.
Trixie.
I mean that Thank you.
He will take as much as he will give.
Thank you, Talon. Thank you, Dean Talonrook. So I guess then that, in order for us to keep a low profile, that we will have to at least buy our stay here now, unfortunately.
Well, I think we're going to have to do that anyway. They sold your house.
Yes, that I don't know.
You're
We're
dead.
gonna have to get a dorm room.
Can you have
No.
an alias?
If I
because
may,
you're dead.
We have hotels, right?
if I may offer some
still into these
suggestions.
systems.
If I may offer some suggestions. You are here with the proper protocols as ambassadors, even if you cannot pass as such in your normal everyday workings, you at least have the paperwork for that. And most of the individuals that you might need to interact with here at Strixhaven are absorbed in their own study or absorbed in their own work.
There are notes in a book.
A simple passing, yes, ambassadors will usually do for them. If you wish to pass off your eccentricities as cultural, simply do so. No one will question it. We are a conglomerate of individuals here, and everyone has their quirks.
That is true.
Ah.
I mean,
Ambassador Ettin.
Ambassador Dawnwatch.
Like this.
Oh, boy.
It is only because I remember the Zraelen ambassadors from before that I knew that you were not native.
That this
I am
audience is
Ambassador Dawnwatcher from the rest.
Now, as far as your stay here, yes, there are facilities available for rent for individuals such as yourself, ambassadors, alumni, visiting representatives looking for enrolling their students. There are plenty of options for that. You simply need to inquire with an automata. They will present you with a list of options. You can choose the one to your liking. I assume you have some sort of funding for such.
Yes.
Yes, we
Then
do.
you will have no problems with that. Now, as for this shard that you're looking for, you'd probably be better served inquiring with a few of the individuals in Lorehold. They are the ones who deal in relics and elements of a historical nature.
Oh.
Lorehold for information. Okay.
In fact, I seem to recall... No, it couldn't be that. You might want to inquire with Osgear. He's a unique individual, even so far as Lorehold historians go. He's rather large. He's a stone giant, so be careful where you put things, otherwise they might get crushed. But he's a collector of sorts. And what we've had to encourage him to do as he's worked his way up through the ranks here from student to professor is we've encouraged him to look into creating copies of these relics that he wishes to collect so that the originals are not kept in his possession solely. They should be shared as relics are. And I vaguely remember him being frustrated a few months ago. There was a relic that came into his possession, a stone, that he said would not submit to cloning properly.
Not submit to cloning.
He should still have the original, as no one else was really interested in it at the time.
He was but you said he was from Lorehold.
Correct.
My compass said that the stone was in the opposite direction of Lorehold.
Well, we could always send some of the more eloquent of us to go speak
I mean,
to him, and then we could go check out what is going on with the...
I would be
Could you
fine.
just volunteer her to go by herself
I mean,
by saying
that-
more eloquent to
I
us?
mean that.
No.
That for 5 years will be quite a bit of time, if you would, no pun intended. So it'll basically
Pun
be
intended.
that people may think that that this is some kind of weird vision or something, but I just don't know how much more of, excuse my French, clout I may have.
I think if you would like
Victim actually
to,
is French.
if you would like to determine that, you'd probably be best served going back to Quandrix
Yes.
directly. I know it's, as I said, it's been a few years, and I don't get over that way much. They're a little
Just
too
understand.
finicky for my taste. But you could possibly inquire of the current deans at the least. In fact, Kihane, I think, is the one who bought your house.
I've heard.
Okay, we definitely have to stop in and see that.
The
Yes.
dean of you said you were a
Subs-
professor of theory,
Yes.
The current dean of theory is Ibrahim. He's a cousin.
Okay.
Although he tends to get lost in his numbers, so be patient.
That time is just nothing of the essence for me.
About the owl that licks the suckers. 1, 2,
Oh God, no. You guys.
Crunch.
3.
Well then, thank you. Thank you, Dean Talonrook, that we will go in and basically acquire residential for us, and then that we will do a little bit of investigating, studying, if you would.
Of course. If you run into any trouble, please feel free to contact me again. And she riffles through some folders and pulls out a copy of my schedule. I
Okay.
can, as I'm doing now, adjust things if needed in an emergency situation, but I'm usually freer in the evenings.
Okay.
So,
Freer
but if-
Yeah, that I understand that the schedules were quite. I think that they were hectic, but
I
my
saw your
schedule-
calendar. There was lots of colors in it. I assumed that just meant no free time.
Today is classes, and watching repertory. So,
Oh yes, then we can also ask about if Calvin graduated or not.
I did have one question.
yes.
I noticed you're the professor of radiance, and across the hallway is the professor of shadow.
Yes.
So, like, if there's a professor of fire, would across the way be the professor of water?
So we don't go that specific. It's more a philosophical bent, if you take my drift.
So more or less, like if a student came to you, they could also get the other side of a discussion if they trust the whole.
In fact, we encourage that. When new students apply, we assign them as, if they're interested in our particular college, we assign them counselors, one from each side of the dynamic. And so they are then forced to find the narrow road in the middle, determine what they actually wish from the college.
That's actually very progressive.
Yes.
The only other university I've ever heard of is the University of the Unseen, and that is just a hot mess.
I am unfamiliar with it, but I will look into it.
Wasn't it that wasn't that their dean was just like a John Cena or something?
No. The last dean I ended up hearing about, his name was Musgrave, and he was raving about something called the Power Shower.
That sounds weird. But that we will be in touch, and that hopefully then that after that my task is done with just right, I will come back and possibly reclaim my teachings and stuff.
Well, you'll certainly be welcome. Again, you'll have to go directly to Quandrix for
Yes,
that. But,
thank you.
I'll certainly put in a good word if you need it.
Right, and then I appreciate it.
Not yours, not yours. You can roll these.
Alright, if there is nothing else,
Wow.
you may find your way back out, I assume? Yes?
Right.
Yes.
Yes, and then thank you for the tea.
Thank you so much for
Of course.
everything.
Take a cookie.
Stop. You have rolled max on all the dice you just rolled. Don't do that. No, I love you, but you just rolled all the maxes that those dice are going to get all night.
Wow. He cursed your dice.
Up top, Vincent. High five.
No, this Tony's just good at dice.
He's
Some
gonna
good
be a
dice.
DM that's gonna crit all
So
the
good at
time.
dice. Don't mess around.
Alright, so you all head back out into the hall, retrace your steps back to the front. The automata that escorted you appears to have already left, made their way back to University Commons. And as you all come out, there's a bit of a it almost sounds like wind chimes, but like magnified, as if they were giant. And a number of doors all across this plaza open up from the various buildings, and swarms of young people, young adults and older individuals all start streaming across the plaza. It seems like class is let out.
We may want to get out the way a little bit.
What?
But after a few minutes, the kerfuffle clears, and you can see in the distance one of the shuttle Equinaton carriages is coming down the main thoroughfare. So you can easily hop back on and head back to Commons to find residential.
Yeah.
Yes, residential.
Well, I guess while we're riding, so we need to talk to the stone giant.
Yeah, but
And your compass pointed over there.
Would you like to check it again?
It
It seems like it's about noon, so you've got
Yeah.
time on that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Well, let's check it again and see what's what.
It's currently closer to Witherbloom, but only by about a square.
And this is
Like it's gone more south now, but not by much, just enough.
Just enough.
and this is while we were here.
Yes.
While we were here, it was there. When we were here, it was there. Okay.
So how about? I still think divide and conquer. Because I don't think this place is that dangerous.
I mean, I will be alright. I mean, look at me. I look like I am a mean professor, as I've been told.
You are Ambassador Embersong and nothing else.
Ambassador Professor Embersong.
But we can roll right through this concept of being Ambassador Embersong. Most of these students don't remember you, but only because they weren't here.
That
The
is
professors don't remember you because they're too wrapped up in their own thing. You could be Ambassador Embersong and learn about your past without bringing attention to it.
That is true. That is.
I am going to be Ambassador Dawnwatcher and be a little bit, straighten up my, more prestigious here.
Yeah, with the
Kairos is
glaive
just kind
on
of
your
leaning
back.
on one of the arms of the benches now, like, I like it. I
With
like
the
it a
glaive
lot.
on your back. But you can just
You should do that more often.
wink.
Just say it because you can't see it.
Look, I will be fine by myself. I mean that I also have Zorina with me too. And
I'm
then
not
that,
saying go by yourself. I'm saying we could split into two
I mean
groups.
that Tal'gor can come if that you want to come with me, and then that both of them go together.
What do you want to do? That's fine with me. I'm down for whatever. Me and Arten can go have antics, and y'all can learn some stuff.
Go trudging through the woods because
I mean,
I
but
think we might want to divide up us and divide up them.
So I'll come with you.
Simply because
some muscle and some magic together.
a little bit, but also I'm kind of afraid if they go romping off into the woods, what's
I
going to
mean,
fucking happen?
oh
la-
yes.
Last time we went warping through the woods,
Why
we came
don't
up with a pretty good plan that involved Slim Jims and throwing tables.
Wait a minute.
And it
Why-
worked.
I don't think this is the place
Wait a
to
minute.
throw
That
the table.
Tal'gor can speak. now.
Neither was the last library.
Tal'gor, what
we
side
get-
are you on?
I mean, I'm pretty easy, you know.
Team
I have a-
longbow or team crossbow? This is important.
Is this really the time to do this?
I'm
Yes.
great at.
All right, that's,
Okay, that's fair.
that's
If he
fair.
wants a ranged weapon, he throws the axe. If he doesn't,
I'm pretty sure that the
That's
guard
fair.
axe is going to do a lot more damage
So
than the
that's
other
fair.
one.
So that he's
Let's-
neutral.
100%, if someone was throwing great axes as accurate as anyone else shoots arrows, then you win. You just
Alright,
win.
now,
Alright.
now I have to make Team Great Axe.
Team great axe.
It's the third party candidate right there. Just gonna swoop in and grab a third.
With that, we're going to take a break because I need a break before we get into the next stuff.
All right, so 10:15.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Sure, we got plenty time.
Audio's up. Video's up.
Cool. All right, welcome back. We are just gonna jump straight back in. Y'all have arrived back in University Commons, and you will need to make your way back around to the fountain to find the readily available automatons. but you can easily find one once you get back to the fountain to inquire about residents. We're gonna make this really easy. Just kind of streamline this. The automaton pulls up a screen full of listings. You find one that looks pretty solid. Says it has 6 bedrooms, 6 baths, and the name of the location is Marigold House. And the price point on it is 85 gold per night.
How long are we staying?
Until we find the stone.
About a week?
A week? I say let's start off with just a couple of days and then we can just renew.
Sure.
That's how it works.
Hopefully that's how it works.
How's it work?
You may pay for any number of nights up front, and then renew with the housekeep automaton.
So,
Right, so start off with
3
2.
days?
3, yeah.
3 days.
That's a good prime number.
Okay. Doing quick brain math. 80 times 3 is 240, 255.
255, yeah.
Alright, good. So the automaton, the line item that y'all selected, Marigold House, kind of lights up, and then the screen shifts to a map, and the automaton says, "Would you like an escort?"
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I would.
The automaton starts walking backwards, leading you all to Marigold House.
You're going to enjoy this way too much, aren't you?
Okay.
Yes.
Remember,
Yes, I am.
get double travel speed because of my totem.
Come on, automaton, pick it up. Double time.
Alright.
Tal'gor just picks it up.
Yeah.
We're just kind of putting all this together. So
Yeah.
y'all follow
Like
the
just strutting.
follow the automaton and the map back into that residential district. You end up kind of near the main thoroughfare to Silverquill, but you're led kind of farther back and away from the biblioplex, kind of diving into this warren of quiet homes in this neighborhood. A lot of them are a very similar style, but a few have different features, so they're identifiable. You notice also most of them have some kind of like a wrought iron or like a brushed nickel nameplate outside, kind of near the fence or the hedgerow or what have you. So you're easily able to find Marigold House. The automaton stops outside the little wicker gate, but you see another automaton situated kind of just on the front stoop. Seems to be in a stasis mode, but it essentially looks like a maid. It's got a maid outfit made of titanium and like black iron, and it even has cute little rose gold blush patches on its cheeks.
I know that you have described the automatons multiple times, but when you said maid outfit, I immediately went to the robot in Borderlands in a maid outfit.
Oh, God.
And I just like, oh, claptrap.
God.
In any case, the automaton that escorted you says, "Marigold House, please make arrangements with Irina," and starts heading back to the fountain, leaving you all at the gate.
Alright.
Are you Arena?
The automaton on the front step kind of seems to perk up and says, "I am Irina. Would you like to stay at Marigold House?"
Yes, 3 nights, please.
And you'll notice that this automaton doesn't have like a screen or anything in the main part of its body. It's more of a traditional like robot shape. It's got like the humanoid like chest cavity space, which a panel slides up on Irina's bodice, and you see essentially a coffer, like a lockbox inside, and the lid pops open. "Please deposit," oh god, how much did we say? "Please deposit 255 gold pieces for 3 nights at Marigold House."
Your math is off. Didn't you say 155?
No.
It's 85 a night, so that's 170 plus another 85. That's
We're not
255.
No,
I
what?
could have swore y'all said 155 before. Sorry,
No.
my bad. Rewind.
Wait, hold on.
No.
So you're saying that the coffer popped up?
Out of her chest.
I mean,
like
you
behind
can-
a panel. Yeah.
Feels like, are we really going to have to just deposit the money right into her bosom?
Isn't that where you always deposit money?
Wait. No, I've never had to pay
I mean,
anybody in
that-
the bosom.
I mean,
I'm
that you
gonna
know,
take a gold coin and put it in his bosom.
that you know, that you know that.
It's just going to go.
Yup.
Right
I
on.
mean, that
But
I
don't
have seen. I mean, I have seen like tiefling women always just pull out gold from it and just pay with it.
Yeah.
That's
Especially
the
when your
thing.
money folds.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Your folding money.
Hold on, you're telling me.
I'm gonna pick up the coin and do it
My
again.
money don't jingle dangle. It folds.
Stop. It's just going to keep falling through. Wait, you're telling me out there there's titty copper?
So
I
you,
pay.
you
I
okay.
pay.
So
Yes.
the money has been deposited.
A lot.
It's like, that'd be uncomfortable.
There's a lot of copper that have touched
That they
titties.
just may
That
have a bra
happens.
of holding. We don't know that.
Never bite your gold.
No, it's not a bra of holding. It's a boobs that holding against the bra. Do you not know the anatomy of your own body?
Yes, I do. Wow.
We went there.
Eye opener.
Come on, you're a woman. Let's go.
Anyway, let's move.
All right, so the money deposited into the lockbox. The lid closes. The chest plate comes back down, and Irina She hasn't really moved her hands this entire time. One of her arms bends, and you see a key is essentially one of her fingers is a key. She turns around, unlocks the door, pushes it open, and goes inside. Upon entering the house, it's got a very English cottage feel to it. It's not too open, not too airy, but it also doesn't feel close. Irina walks down kind of goes down the foyer, and then turns around and says, "Bedrooms and bathrooms are upstairs. I will make dinner," and moves into what appears to be a kitchen. There's a main living area. It's essentially a small home away from home cottage.
I'll look at them. Sprint upstairs.
Okay. So essentially you can each grab a room for the night.
I'm slinging open doors. I'm gonna find the biggest bed, and then just plop on it and call dibs.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Erebos gets the room next door.
Got the biggest bed for a reason, dude. You don't get another room.
There's 6 rooms. He's taking a room.
Fine.
I'm gonna get the one closest to like the door,
Fair enough.
just for security.
Okay, fair. So
Security.
the only other thing I need to be clear about is there is a key, like a skeleton key that you guys can have access to on the the side table in the front hall. But as you're all kind of exploring the house itself, you do see or you can feel there appear to be wards around every window, on the exterior doors. This place is essentially a secure facility. You should not feel that you have to carry all of your stuff with you.
They invested in SafeLink. Hashtag not sponsored. Please do.
Hashtag not sponsored, but please
Hashtag.
do.
Please do.
SafeLink is the best company of all time.
Don't say that until they pay us.
It's good for leaking and safes. What's a safe link?
Safety linked to you.
Okay.
Well,
Does my room have a balcony of sorts?
A small one.
Okay. I just want to set up the pets and stuff that I need to be drying. I just want to set them up on the balcony and be like,
We're already those tourists that are
already those guys.
hanging out our goddamn laundry at the Airbnb in front of everybody else that lives in the neighborhood.
Okay, I will
I am
say
acting this part. I am not this part. Come on, man. I'm walking around with my chest out. I'm like, I'm
roll me a d20 on an even. You're in the back of the house, so it's not that obvious.
don't even care.
I care.
We about to.
Your DM.
That's a 15.
You're on the front of the house with your stanky ass belts in the breeze.
Just across the street is this old couple. We're gonna take you
Strixhaven HOA. Okay.
These are some of the multi-millionaire investors that are just like, they just let anybody be an alumnus now, huh? Anyway,
Don't care.
Phil's just gonna go ahead and put the giant cardboard letters of just random Greek.
I'm just gonna say I'm from Witherbloom and like roll with it. Like, I know what this means. These are dead things, and I'm a dead thing guy. Like that's what we do.
all right. So,
I'm gonna also give him the stuff I have and just let him do it.
Yeah.
So,
It's all out on one big
all the
balcony.
giraffe
Like,
cat heads I had.
giraffe cats and all the pelts.
just blame it on culture. Just blame it on culture.
Phil's gonna look out of his window and see that's right there,
Yeah,
and just
My
go
room is
find
farthest
another
away
room.
from y'all's.
There's one more. No one went in. Nope.
My room is farthest away from all of that.
All right, so it's still mid-afternoon, but Irina's essentially at work, like preparing a large dinner for you guys. You're under no obligation to stay in the house now that you've got it. You can come and go as you please. However, there is only the one key. To make things easy, Irina will open the door for you guys if you show up without a key. Irina does not open the door for anyone else unless you all are there inviting them in, like, these are our guests. So the house is secure.
Arten, you can keep the key.
Okay.
Right.
So what are we gonna do, boss?
So we got
Put it in my
Ambassador Dawnwatcher, keeper of the keys.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, you do.
Y'all still wanted to do some investigation, I think, before nightfall?
Yes, then I believe that me and then I do believe that me and then Ambassador Gore will be going to Quandrix.
Okay.
Wait,
Call me
wait.
Tally.
Your last name is Gore? I thought this was always just one name.
It is just one name. I'm just rolling with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Ambassador
So
Talus.
heading to Quandrix, you two. And does that mean you two are going to Lorehold?
I thought it was going to be the other way around.
I did too.
Oh, no. She's going to Quandrix to find out about herself.
Yes,
Right.
undercover a little bit.
We could always go talk to the stone giant.
Yeah, let's go talk to the stone giant.
Nothing wrong will happen from
I
this.
mean that
No, of course not.
I
We're
will have to say
excellent.
like no magical swirlies on students, but you can put them up in just wedgies if they get snappy.
Let's just go see the stone
She
giant.
just gave me permission to wedgie students. I don't think you should be giving me permission to wedgie students.
I don't think we have.
Also-
hold on. Wait.
Ambassador Dawnwatcher does not need permission for anything.
You know, we probably shouldn't wedgie students if we're ambassadors.
True.
But we have diplomatic immunity.
So you can't
That's not how that normally works.
Usually I would think I wouldn't want to make a wizard mad in their own domain.
But yes, so then we will just act.
I'm just saying.
We will just act cordial,
Worst we can do is make them slightly cross.
but we can also throw
You
about
can talk shit all you
propaganda.
want.
Be cheeky, but not fuckery.
Before you all leave the house, Erebos is going to pull Arten aside. Do you mind if I stay here? Just a little tired. Could stay here, make sure things are settled when you guys come back.
Sure. Are you feeling okay?
Just tired.
Which is why I'm asking if you're feeling okay. We've just been walking.
I'm fine.
Okay. Take
Kind
some
of-
medicine. Get some rest.
Kind of gives you a bit of a kiss on the snoot, and
Called it a snoot.
it's a snoot. Anyway, okay, so Tal'gor and Phil, roll me a d20 flat. Whoever gets higher, that's who we're going with first.
And 9.
Yeah, that's you.
Alright.
I rolled the one that has a dot on the other end.
No,
of
wait,
the
I have a 6.
I have a 6.
Oh,
Let's do
do
it.
it again!
Roll these.
Ow. Don't be the same thing. It's the same thing.
I got 3.
I got a 6.
Okay.
He rolled the same thing.
He did.
Hold on. It's
Go ahead.
no, I don't.
All right, so I'm just gonna dress up like ceremonial, like a bodyguard, and
Okay.
just follow Zhonya around.
Alrighty. Let me go grab images. Okay, so yeah, y'all can make your way from your home down to the down to the thoroughfare, catch a carriage, and the main thoroughfare essentially puts you out on a long circular path surrounding this.
Oh.
There are a number of what appear to be essentially elemental or mana manifestations of different shapes. There are what appear to be, it may be ice, it may be stone, these cylindrical towers. And as you watch, a few of these essentially conjured shapes are in flux. They're morphing to different shapes. The cubes are turning into spheres. The spheres are turning into spirals. It seems like the entire array of everything here is both in constant flux and in perfect balance. Brain words. The exterior pathway around this primary campus. I need my. Okay. This is Zhonya. As you are kind of walking this path and you're looking for one of the like the bridges that kind of go over the primary chasm to get closer to the center, you're recalling it's like you're walking through your memories. You know that the central spiral tower is called Taurus Hall, Torus. I'm good. You remember that the way things shift and flux outside here on the pathways doesn't stop on the pathways. Taurus is also constantly in flux. It's not always this spiral tower. Sometimes it's more of a conical, almost an inverted pyramid. Other times it's more of a cylinder shape. Sometimes it's even actually square. It's in constant but slow flux. Let's see here. But that's pretty much the main thing that you're gonna need, I think. As you finally make it to like the central landmass supporting Taurus Hall, you do see kind of in coming around a corner. Could you, Jed? Could you pull up an image of one of the fractals? You see what appears to be a snake, a giant snake made of interlinking mana forms. It's kind of blue-green, and it's essentially just meandering in perfect, sinuous shifting across the grounds. You see students and faculty kind of moving out of its way. You remember that this is Essex, E-S-I-X, a group of Quandrix students a few hundred years ago took on the project of trying to devise an infinite equation. Trying to, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Fractals. They're fun.
I will fight you.
So they kept, these students
Don't look at
wouldn't
it.
give up,
Let's
and
look.
eventually
I'm
what
trying to.
happened is they created a living equation.
Okay.
Essex doesn't seem Essex isn't really interested in anything that's happening around them, but Essex is constantly searching for infinity. And so it's just kind of a feature of Taurus Hall. You and Tal'gor walk up one of the spiraling ramps into Taurus Hall. In your mind's eye, you can easily retrace the steps to the offices where the deans would be. And you're looking for the Dean of Theory, yes?
Yes.
Okay. You make your way to that hallway. You find the two opposing doorways. The Dean of Substance, Kiane, there's a window in her door, and you can see all kinds of just magic sparking plants blooming. There's a whole lot going on behind that door. Ibrahim's door, the Dean of Theory, his door is open, and the entire room is like the walls are covered in chalkboard. Massive amounts of interlinking equations, and none of them make sense. Not to you. This is some high level, not your kind of shit.
Right.
This is not math. This is not time math shit. This is just math shit.
Right.
But the office is empty except for the chalkboards and hundreds of papers on every available desk surface.
Well, it appears he's absent at the moment. Maybe we can try to see about the Dean of Substance. Maybe. Gonna go in and...
Okay, give me a second to grab... I need person information here.
Well, I'm starting to recover everything a little bit.
That's good. If you see something you recognize you want to check out, let's do it.
I mean, that, if that anything, then I'm pretty sure then that... I don't know if they had any type of missing posters or not for that first year. But we will see.
Okay. You knock on the door. At first, the only thing that seems to happen is there's a few more sparks going off through the window. But eventually you see a blonde-haired woman's face with the pointed ears. She's obviously an elf. Kind of peeking through the window. Her hair looks like it's probably in pretty good shape, except that right now it's tucked up in like a half dozen small buns, each with a pencil stuck through it, on top of her head, and there's flyaways everywhere. But she kind of, and then opens the door, and as the door opens, this cacophony of sound comes out. It's like the woman's got a jungle in her office. But it was all closed off behind the door. She says, "Yes, how can I help you?"
Why, yes, that we are the ambassadors from Zrel, and then that we were looking for the Dean of Theory.
He's in class.
He's in class.
Yeah.
But do you mind?
I left the door open again, and she snaps her fingers and the door closes.
All right.
That's handy.
He's going to lose all of his equations. So, yes, he'll be in hall C, row B.
Hall C, row B. Okay.
Yes.
Who was that talking to them?
Thank you.
Who was just talking to them?
The Dean of Substance.
That'd be Kane.
Yeah, Kian.
Kian.
I don't actually know what she looks like. I made her up. Sorry.
That's fine.
No.
She
I
said
keep looking up
Keon.
names and like, wait, was this a card? Wait, was this a card?
I'm pretty sure they're on cards, but I forgot to look her up. So.
It's okay.
Well, then I thank you for your help. And
Of course.
Yes.
does she look any type of familiar to me or anything like that?
Vaguely, but you get the feeling y'all didn't run in the same circles. So like just in passing. But there's also there's an element of
100%.
there's an element of age about her now. So maybe y'all were students together, or maybe she was an older student before,
Right.
but you don't know her as a
I don't see
familiar
if they make
to
these
you.
equations.
Okay, not going to follow up on it and just going to.
Okay.
Well then, thank you. Thank you, Dean.
Of course.
Kian, for that, and then we will try to go find
If you see,
Embersong.
if you see a little thing, it'll look like a dragonfly, except that it's going to have a serpent's tail. If you see one of those, bring it back to me.
Okay, like a little dragonfly serpent's tail.
One of those things.
I would definitely bring it back.
The jar was left open. I don't know who did it. And she slams the door.
Sounds like
Side quest upon side quest.
It just sounds just like up in like Primordial. She would say, Calvin.
I think you focus too much on Calvin.
Okay.
Calvin
gotta
was
let
a
it-
problem student.
You gotta let it go.
If that one thing that has been burned up into my forgotten
Don't.
memory is that little shithead of a student.
Okay. Well, I'll find
She is swearing in Primordial.
I will.
All right.
Don't know that one.
We're going to leave that there for now. We're going to cut over to these guys. Same kind of thing. Y'all head out. You catch a carriage over to Lorehold. The road to Lorehold, it's obviously taking you more toward these red mountains that y'all saw before, with all of the star arches kind of culminating some of the peaks. As you get closer and closer, you can see what appears to be carved out of one of these foothills. It looks like a you remember the boat houses in like Egyptian cities, the kind of long narrow columns, that whole thing. The main thoroughfare brings you directly to one of these things, kind of surrounding the desert, and it goes over this chasm. And looking down into the chasm, you can see essentially quite a few spaces that seem to be active archaeological dig sites. Other places appear to be already excavated ruins. This appears to be not just a college, but an active historical site in constant excavation mode.
Do you think that the college was built over an archaeological site and they've just been digging? Or do you think they bring stuff from other realms here to investigate?
I think that these people may see every location as a place to dig, and everything as a place to learn.
You can see other bridges kind of spanning this chasm, and it is a long chasm. The entire thing.
I mean, technically, there's gonna be bones everywhere, right?
So the entire thing kind of looks like this. It's a scar across the land, and there's multiple roads kind of going across the chasm. You can see a few of the other ones appear to be lined with various statues, like the Path of the Gods for the Dothraki. None of them appear to be cohesive. They all appear to be of different heroes or of different even gods from pantheons. Just lots of different figures, all kind of placed, and only by virtue of being together are they cohesive.
Don't look at me.
I didn't look. I was homeschooled on a ship, so
Most of my knowledge came from the army. You think I learned about this stuff?
I think they would at least tell you enough about which gods not to piss off.
Oh, they just told me where to stab.
The shuttle, the Equinaton shuttle, drops you off kind of inside this this long, stretching, for lack of a better term, a citadel or a keep. It kind of drops you off in the lobby area, this antechamber, and heads back to Commons. There are a number of people roaming about, and let me do a quick double check again before I forget something. Oh damn, it's not there. Hang on a second. This is why I want the actual actual book and paper. There we go. Okay, so where is that? That's gonna be under. There we go. Okay. You can see a number of statues on plinths kind of spaced around the antechamber.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them appear to be alive. You can see magic kind of flowing through them, and a few of them are actually in conversation with individuals here in the space.
Are the statues talking, or did someone slip something to me?
No, they're talking.
Okay.
Look, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this, because this is probably out of your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Magic does weird shit, and we're in a place that's even weirding me out. Because, like, this is official academic weird shit. So somebody's going to claim they know what's going on and that they've studied it and given a reason. And then someone's going to tell you that they're full of shit because they disagree with it because they have this other reason. And then they're going to low-key feud for a while.
Okay. All right. Put your ambassador on. Stand up straight. Puff my chest out. I'm using my glaive, kind of a walking stick type thing.
It's beautiful.
Clink.
Yep.
Clink.
The clink.
Claws are out just enough to where they click when I walk. Clink.
This is why Erebos didn't come, because he'd only be horny and he would not be functional.
I'm going to prestidigitate that there's like...
That we don't smell?
No.
We had a bath recently.
It is a auditory effect. Like, because Phil's going to be slightly behind Arten. And since Phil's like, I'm not going to fucking work it.
What are you doing? What? We don't need a horn.
Attention, eggheads!
Oh, shit.
I come with Ambassador Dawnwatcher of Zrael.
A number of people in the area, and even farther down the hall, turn, look, and it's almost in unison. They all kind of just, and then go on about their business.
You have a big interest now. You made an impression.
The hell did you do that? I didn't want to make an impression.
You puffed your chest out, you stood up
I'm
straight.
blending in with the...
One of the statues...
None of them are standing up straight and clinking a giant glaive.
One of the statues appears to... calls out to you, hello?
So bad.
Come this way. And as you turn, Arten, you'll recognize it as a figure you know from legend. Someone known as a planeswalker, someone who goes different places and solves the multiverse's problems.
Is it the statue?
The statue appears to be of a Leonin in full armor. There is an obvious scar carved on one eye.
Who's that?
That, my friend, is the legend of my people. That's a Johnny.
A Johnny.
A Johnny Goldman.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying it was like a Johnny.
He was the Leonin, so powerful that he could walk across through portals just like we went through, at will.
So he knew plane shift.
He knew much more than that.
So the statue, this effigy, is motioning you over.
Oh yeah, I'm going to Johnny.
And as
That's my boy.
you get closer, it kind of the statue leans down and kind of puts a hand on one knee and says, "So, been a while since one of my kin was here."
Yep.
He's fangirling.
For no offense, the cat has his tongue. He is caught up in your magnificence.
Clever elf.
Johnny. I definitely did not expect you here. Hi.
Hello.
have so many questions. I have so much to ask. I could sit here and speak with you for days, but
Unlike a statue you need to eat, that would not be advisable.
but we have a mission. We are on task, and
Well, I can take care of that if you want to talk to the statue of your hero.
I'm not going anywhere.
oh, I'll be back. But while I'm here, have you seen a? Okay, so your brother. The Did you ever?
You're getting into lore that your DM doesn't have.
Sorry.
I don't have all of it. I just know it's like
okay.
surface level shit. Sorry.
Someone killed his brother and he got all vengeful and turned differently, and it was fun.
I will look at it for next time.
Yeah, no. So many questions. Your brother, the fight, the war, you were... It is an honor to meet you, sir.
Phil's just like, you do realize this is a statue, right?
Phil's never seen Arten
animated, right?
Fanboy.
Yeah.
And Phil's like,
This is nice.
this is a whole level of emotion I didn't know I had, and I'm kind of loving it.
No,
I don't fully understand the emotion I'm feeling about the emotions.
he's to relate in Leonin terms, he would be like meeting King Arthur, like someone who is so famous that his tales are legend and therefore fiction. But
yeah, he's a cat of nine tails in another life.
oh god. like it's to the point where like this guy couldn't exist. He's not real. And then I meet him and he's there.
It's a statue.
It's a statue that's talking to me.
It's a statue that's talking. It's a statue.
And magic does weird shit.
Magic does weird shit. This is literally the con floor right now. We're a cosplay competition.
Exactly. I'm over here fanboying because I met an artist of a thing that I've read. We need to find Osgir, the statue, the stone statue.
No, he's a stone giant.
Giant.
We were told he was weird.
A collector of sorts.
He is a collector. Go down the main hall, turn left, descend into the bowels of the mountain.
Then we go to the bowels.
Alright, we go.
Again, an honor. Thank you.
Walk with pride, young one.
Shut up.
The Ajani statue stands up and kind of resumes its stasis mode.
Flipping out over here. He's not even supposed to be on this plane.
Well, got to say, he cuts quite the figure. Almost like he was carved from stone.
He's always been very stoic.
No, I mean literally carved from stone.
And he's always been very stoic.
Alright, okay.
Statuesque, as you say.
So, you guys follow the directions that the statue gave you, head down. It's a set of steps that as you go down them and you pass a few landings, it doesn't seem like there's much on any of it. It mostly seems like storage when you kind of peer down the hallways. And eventually the steps go from being normal height steps to they start getting taller and taller until each step is nearly your waist in height.
We're going down, so we're just kind of...
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, we're going down. So,
yeah,
Up and down.
Going up is going to be a bitch.
Well, just so that, it's not that bad, but it's one of those you jump after like the fourth one, the knees.
You are old enough for your knees to hurt when you jump. The young guy in his 20s with good knees.
Eventually you reach the bottom level.
I had fucking gust while you were jumping.
Eventually you reach the bottom level. it seems to be essentially a basement level. You're kind of walking through a like an archive of shelves of stuff. And
Stuff. Trinkets and knickknacks.
a lot of it appears to be essentially replica. Like, you can tell that these aren't originals, but only because they don't appear damaged. It's like these are restorations and like perfect recreations of items pulled from antiquity. Everything from weapons to goblets to even a few tools like lathes and like writing instruments. There's just a grand assortment of everything, and somewhere in this cavernous space that's only lit by lamps along the walls and on the end caps of each of these shelf banks. Somewhere in this labyrinth is the sound of what sound you recognize like a tiny gem hammer, kind of pinging noise. You're able to kind of, you know, peering down the aisles. Eventually you find a large work table, about triple size, and behind the table with their back to you is the obvious gray skin and basically nothing more than like a fur wrap of a stone giant bent over this table. Seems like maybe about 14 foot tall if he was standing upright.
Lord Osgear.
The pinking stops, and the individual turns around, says, "Aye."
Good evening. My name...
Is it evening now?
Wasn't it?
They were going to make dinner, so it was afternoon,
Alright.
at the very least.
But, I
missed class again. They'll forgive me. I'm the teacher. Turns back to his whatever he's doing.
Might we have a moment of your time?
Speak. Pink, pink, pink.
We're seeking a stone. One that we were told you may have.
Or know where it might be?
Black in nature.
Lots of black stone, obsidian.
It's the heart of a god.
Ironite.
You wouldn't notice that, but it may be the one that you couldn't replicate.
The pinking stops and pushes the chair back and stands up. Is fully 14 feet tall, if not 15. This cavern is built to his size. And starts walking towards you all. Gets within about 10 feet of you, and then kind of takes a knee. So he's almost more on eye level. You know what it was?
I know what it is. That is, if you still have it, and I can confirm it.
I have the copy.
Right. You
So
could
you-
copy.
It didn't work. It was empty.
Empty?
Oh, yeah, he probably couldn't recreate a god's soul
No, of course
or
not.
essence.
I will get the copy. Stands up and moves farther down the room than y'all had got. You can either follow or stay where you are, but eventually Osgear retrieves a...
Just us trying to keep up with the steps.
Osgear retrieves from an upper shelf like a dark wood box, pulls it down. It's pretty much just palm size for him. It'd be roughly a foot for
It's
you guys. And
Don't do that to us. Do not do that to us, Jed. Do not put that in.
oh no, I already did a mimic for someone else. It was awful. I'm never doing it again. But kneels down again and pulls open the box. Inside, it's like shreds of paper as like packing material, and nestled in the paper is a long, jagged shard of you recognize it looks
shape,
like the same type of material that you know you're looking for, but you can tell there's no energy about it. It's just a piece of unique black stone. I could copy the shape and the color, and he's like holding the box, like pointing at it like accusingly, and I could make it look exactly right, but it wouldn't copy the magic.
It's because it wasn't magic. It was part of a god.
Its heart.
And that's why we must retrieve it.
A heartless god?
We're fixing that part.
It's more like it's broken.
Shattered and scattered across the plains.
Okay, family had a big mad fight and it just...
That's enough.
Broken-hearted gods. Must be sad history. And stands back up to put the box back on the shelf.
They're historians.
I gave the one I couldn't copy to a man in a purple mask. He said they could figure out why I couldn't copy it.
Okay. Man in the purple mask. What was his name?
It smoked. The mask smoked. It was magic. But I won't copy that. It's not historical enough yet.
Smoky purple
Smoky
mask.
purple mask. So that they could...
Did he have a name?
He didn't give a name. Said he was a student. Witherbloom. But he didn't wear green.
Lying ass slipper. Oh, that's a good lead.
A smoky purple mask with a blue no name. Got it.
I mean, how many purple smoking masks could there be?
Probably a dozen, because it's a cult of some type that I don't know about yet. You know
Elsewhere on
how it
campus.
works.
Uma Thate. It's just...
Oh my god.
They all got purple smoking masks doing a nail stand.
Oh boy.
Extu snar. Extu snar. For those that know, when you know, you know.
So that puts us in at least a direction to figure something out.
It's the same direction we already knew, but we know a face, or rather a mask, to look for.
Alright, we got some details.
I don't know.
Is there anything else you could tell us about them?
He threatened me with a bloody whip. I said it didn't scare me.
He threatened a stone giant with a whip.
He really wanted to take the original for study. We're supposed to share the relics.
But why would he think a whip would hurt you?
I didn't ask. It's not my student.
He's not from here. He sounds more like Theros.
I don't know. There's a couple different places I've been that someone with a bloody whip could show up, especially if they're wearing a mask.
Oh. This is...
Kind of glad Erebos didn't come with us, because...
This is bringing up lots of fun memories. But it's all too similar. I'm going to have to ponder on this for a little bit. There were people back on Theros who all wore masks, but they were golden, mostly. And there were whips that used whips, but That doesn't make sense for this school.
I'm going back to the Diadem of Rocks.
Might I ask what you were working on? I'm a bit of a jeweler myself.
The Diadem of Rocks.
Can I see?
Come, and leads you back to the table.
It's too excited.
Pulls over a large packing crate and like turns it over. You can hear a few things kind of clink and clunk as he turns it over, but that allows you to be able to stand up so you can see on top of the table. We're doing Jack and the Beanstalk, guys. Yeah, it's a cold iron diadem. There's a few marble pieces kind of inset almost as if they were gems. Osgear points to the diadem and says, "The Diadem of Rocks, the rhinoceros people, their kings a long time ago would wear it."
Oh. You're doing beautiful work.
Thank you. It needed to be cleaned.
Gonna look back and see if Arten is ready to go.
I'm finding a rope to help us climb up the steps. Was pulling out a rope and like, whatever you are.
Thank you, Lord Osgood, or Osgear.
I'm no lord.
Thank you, Osgear.
You're welcome, little elf.
It's Phil.
Phil.
And it's Ambassador Elf. Come on.
Dr. Ambassador.
Doctor, Professor, Saint.
Sergeant!
No, you should just go General.
I was a sergeant. I can't write myself up. I was a sergeant.
And just, I'll follow him and then look at the stairs. Alright.
Would you like a teleport upstairs?
Yes, please.
Oh, that would be great.
Push the button on the wall. You can see there's like a pressure plate. It's actually inch for y'all.
Okay, it's not like up on his level.
I was like,
No.
this is going to be harder than doing the stairs.
No, but
Just
Go up a
it's
stair
set to-
and then get the running.
it's about 20 feet from the stairwell, and it's just a pressure plate. As you stand there and you press it, the floor kind of lights up under you, runes and things, and then you feel yourself kind of, and you are back in the long hall of the main palisade.
Do you want to talk to your hero? We got time.
Absolutely. But I'm worried that someone, the purple masked smoky man, we're gonna have to name that person.
Purple sticky whip.
Let's call him Purple Whip.
Watch me whip.
Why is it sticky? Why is it sticky?
Because he said it was a bloody whip, bloody sticky.
Is it that the sticky icky?
That sticky icky? That purple sticky icky whip? Anyway, I'm worried that he may harm. Could he harm the heart? He's going to study it. He was so. Why would you threaten the giant?
So let's break it down. Threatened
Yes.
with a whip that was bloody, which a whip is a very special weapon. Purple mask that was smoking.
Which is not a color in any of these houses.
I didn't know. I've never been here.
Well, we did a tour.
You think I was paying attention?
It was a whole tour.
We don't go in temples, we don't go to church, and we don't pay attention at school. Phil's code of honor.
I zoned out like I was having to go to another room and handle something, so I feel like there's a whole lot of lore I didn't pick up, but that's fine.
He was just trancing the whole time. He wasn't even awake.
Alright.
It's fine, but you can go talk. Look, we got this. I I got a bad feeling about it. I'm feeling like dark, evil wizard.
Sounds right.
And I don't...
Some type of necromancy.
Necromancy's not necessarily evil.
Bringing something back from the dead that doesn't want to be undead.
Alright, you remember when you got knocked out? No, I didn't do that to you. Who did I do? I've done Spare the Dying to someone. When I spared the dying on Tal'gor. That's necromancy, and it just allowed him to not keep dying.
Bringing back someone who's already dead. Been dead for a while.
That's called true resurrection. Priests do it.
Priest.
Yeah, they can bring people back from the dead.
Undead. Talking about undead.
Oh, that's the other side of the coin.
This seems like a conversation.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we're walking and talking.
Yeah.
We're
Walking and talking.
And with all of these things to ruminate on and think about, we are going to have to call it here for the night because time is a fickle thing. So,
I did want to sit and with Johnny.
of course, if you would like, shoot me some questions or just delve your own lore, however you want to play that.
I have no idea how to play it either.
It's fine. We'll let it happen in the background.
Haven't thought about a Johnny in so long.
We'll let it happen in the background.
He's not canon anymore.
But in any case,
He did.
a Johnny always will be canon. There's nothing that will keep him from being canon.
He can't undo, but he did, yo.
In any case, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for playing. How y'all liking Strixhaven so far?
It's fun.
Loving it.
It's fun.
Even if it's just a quick crash course, so to
It's
speak.
fun.
You're gonna get a bird course out of it.
I love that I'm doing such a horrible job at trying to blend in. I'm doing what I think I should be doing.
Phil
But that's
never was
bad.
going to try to blend in.
Look at my skins. These skins are my skins, and they're the boss.
Shaking ears, just shaking ears.
Look. Every Leonin, or anyone who knows Leonins, knows this isn't a bad thing. This isn't hanging out my dirty laundry. This is, I killed this, y'all. I killed this. Almost killed me, but I killed it. Yeah, that's right.
It's power play.
Put some respect on my name.
But in any case, we will be back next week. This is probably going to be 3 sessions of Strixhaven, unless y'all come up with some other stuff, in which case we can stretch it out. But I
just want to pay for more days in the room.
I plan for 3 sessions per plane hop, unless something weird happens. But yeah, so next session, and then we'll figure out what's going on in this university. Do the things.
All right.
I'll let you go because you got the
Yeah.
info.
Then that, just that I know that there is that there is a reminder that since that we did reach 100 followers, that there is a giveaway of that team bonus action merch. That there will be a mouse pad, some coffee mugs. That there will be a shirt. Then that there may be some surprise dice. Who knows what else is all just going to be up in that this giveaway package which is going to be for basically our online charity game Retribution of the Fallen that will be starting on the weekend of May 15th, I believe.
Right, the weekend it'll start the 13th and run.
That's the 13th of May, right? And then that basically that is going to be all contributions are going to go towards just like helping out children's to pay for children's hospital treatments with just cancer who has been affected by the whole by the whole situation up in Ukraine. And then that upcoming that we also have Sunday that we will have a bonus round table, and then that we will have another just game of Into the Woods. And then that, is it Lost Seas or Holy Winds?
It'll be Holy Winds, probably the rest of definitely the rest of, it's already the rest of this month. Most of May will be Holy Winds on Monday. We got
Cheers to Kairos next Thursday.
Next Thursday we got round table, location table. We're gonna have our normal schedule for the most part, with the exception of the 13th to the 15th being the charity stream.
Correct.
So, and we will be adding some mothership games run by our own.
Yeah, we just had to get people in them.
Right.
It'll be a rotating cast, one shot once a month, Deep Space Horror. So I will play it until I can get Dr. McSmudgeons killed.
Okay. I can make it happen.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
Can't accommodate.
Dr. Explosion somehow has survived way too long for who he is.
Your wish is Nate's coming.
In my other game, my other militia game, I have a guy named Recycle. His name is Ben, but we call him Recycling Ben because he's just a different Ben every game.
But you know that our space tiefling doctor messed up everything, but that was hilarious.
Yeah.
But anyway, then thank you all so much for just watching. That you can follow us on Facebook, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That we are at bonus_team.
He did it better than me.
I don't know. But anyway, then thank you guys so much for watching. And then, well, since that Knox isn't here,
Don't
let your meat loaf.
loaf.
Good night, everybody. Thank you. You all have a good night. Comment, like, subscribe. Goodbye.
He didn't like hesitate at all. There was no stopping. Like, wait,
He's
what
like,
was
I
it?
got this. Let's
What
go.
was it? Oh no.